just different.
We gon' set this off so right. Keep that camera rolling all night. This is a movie, so play your position. Me and my girls out here on a mission. Got 'em looking dead on sight. Can't help but to stare ahead so tight. So bring the lights and keep them flashing. You know how it is, lights, camera, action. We gon' keep this party jumping. Gotta give it a little something just to keep them fellas looking. You know how it is. Got 'em hooked, I got 'em crazy on the music. You know how we do. Let's party all night long. Rock until the break of dawn.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Y'all know what it is. This is the Love Show where we let our voices empower. Let's go, let's go, let's go. If you on Facebook Live right now, make sure you like and share the show. We got a powerful show coming up and a powerful family giving it to you. All right, the number one family in the world, obviously, Rise Up Family is in the building. Man, can we introduce everybody? Everybody introduce themselves and let the people know who it is, who y'all is one more time, one more again.
Happy Friday, everybody. It's your girl, Elena, Miss Vitamin E, your favorite YouTuber. If you're not already following me on YouTube, what are you waiting for? Elena TV. Get into it.
There it is. Yes, love it. Yes, feed the people, Elena. Feed them. All right.
Hey, everybody. It's Letitia Hardison, your favorite life coach, coming at you from Baltimore, Maryland.
Right, all right, Fred Wilson II coming at y'all from Las Vegas. Letitia, I like that background. I hear there's a pretty good football team that plays there.
Your 49ers, of course.
I don't have first-hand knowledge, but that's what I've heard.
And by the way, we have a special somebody in the building today. I will let her introduce herself.
I'm Stephanie Tapley, and I'm from Dallas, Texas, and I do not have a YouTube channel or a cool handle yet, but I'm happy to be here.
And you actually have a real football team.
Without a name, though.
No.
All right. Now, with that being said, obviously, you know, we let our voices empower. We got a great topic coming up for you guys today. Elena, Fred, Letitia, you guys can go ahead and introduce the topic for today. It's going to be a phenomenal one.
Well, guys, today we are going to talk about elite pedophilia. The reason I say elite is because we have just so many stars, Hollywood golden people who have been accused of pedophilia, and it's been swept under the rug. So today we're going to unpack, one, why it's acceptable, because if nothing's done, it's clearly acceptable, and what we need to do about this moving forward as people, as a culture, as a community.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. All right, who wants to jump in the pool?
It's a heavy topic. It's real heavy. Real heavy.
Yeah, I know.
Something definitely needs to be done, or because we can't get the message out. If you have money, then you can do it. Or it's a rich man's sport. Basically, if you're rich, then, you know, we're talking about elite world leaders. They have accusations of world leaders being involved. The people that run this country, the most powerful people. So something definitely needs to be done, for sure.
And I mean, the difficult thing to touch off that is like, yeah, it's about who's involved in, or allegedly involved. And like you mentioned, like the leaders of this country, really world leaders. So this is not like, I posted on my personal Facebook, I'm like, I hope y'all don't think this is a problem that we're going to solve by going to the voting booth in November, or by just kind of like, this is, and I hate to say it, but like, if y'all, you know, this is like Bane and the boys rolling up and snatching people out of houses and dragging them down to the courtroom and be like, yo, we the people charge you with, how do you plead type stuff. Because like, I mean, we've got royal families involved. We've got, you know, the heads of industry involved. We've got politicians, former presidents. So it's like, this, this is, if what happens needs to happen, or if what needs to happen happens, y'all know what I'm saying. It's going to be messy, to say the least, and it's going to be world changing. Like, it's going to be the type of event where every history book in the year 2127 is going to be talking about that day or that month or whatever. It's so.
It's a huge financial enterprise. Specifically in the Philippines, specifically online. And I think a lot of the solution is it's a complex multitude, cornucopia, if you will, of problems that have been piled on, starting from education, starting from government accountability and responsibility, because a lot of them are involved, as well as online access and these underground little pedophilia, little Reddit thing. They're hiding in plain sight, not even in the dark web. They're using code, and it's global, and it's a financial thing. Part of it's part of capitalism too.
Right.
Since y'all dancing around these names.
Bring it in, Evangelist.
I'm not going to do this. Y'all know I'm not going to do this. So, let's talk about Jeffrey Epstein.
Let's do that.
Let's drop that name, because he has been tied to
billionaire,
so many people. Just chilling. Bill Clinton, Prince Andrew, which, if you've noticed anything about the royal family, Andrew's nowhere to be found. His mama told him sit in the corner somewhere and shut up. Who else do we have on that list, guys? I'm missing a big one.
There's a lot of big names, but
it's a lot of them. It's a lot of them, but I'm missing somebody big.
The royal family don't get no worse than that. The world, they're terrible.
I'm disturbed because this man was rich enough to purchase an island, and in that, these men actually had a playground of not only pedophilia, but just, all kinds of other sexual, what would we call that? Perversion. And if anybody's followed the Epstein case, he passed away. They said it was a suicide. Everybody here knows, like, I'm not into conspiracy theories, but ladies and gentlemen, that man did not kill himself. That man was murdered. He knew too many secrets.
He might not even be
with his kind of money, right? What Fred said.
He did.
What happened?
He was removed, but he became himself. So he was either
absolutely. They said something needs to be done, and they did away with him. And it's a lot of money. When you mix money, politics, and secrets, people die.
Right.
Well, that's not TV. America likes to paint this picture like they're squeaky clean. We are not. We hide people in plain sight, as Stephanie said. We allow things to happen because of money, and then you got to think about, with money there comes classes of money. There's new money and there's old money. And old money moves a little different than new money. There are just so many things unpacked with this, but I definitely wanted to bring up Jeffrey Epstein, especially given, the accusation that he committed suicide, and we still sitting on this indictment is still coming, people. There were a lot of names in this indictment, and as this unfolds, and if you know anything about federal law, federal indictments kind of roll like this. When you're indicted federally, it's usually, hey, we're coming, you're coming with us. We're going to give you X amount of time to get your stuff in order, but you're going to jail. We're not doing this with you. So I'm just waiting to see what happens.
What's so frustrating is that the justice system is typically not on the side of the victim. That's why so many people don't report, and not just child sex abuse. I mean, in cases with just women in general, they're constantly, cases are no-billed all the time, including a case that I was even involved in. Even with a confession, a taped confession, oftentimes a grand jury will still no-bill a case because they find insufficient evidence. Or a case in the UK where the young girl, they proved with vein patterning technology that the perpetrator was in fact the defendant, and they still dismissed the case because someone said, well, the girl didn't seem to scream or cry enough, so it's just not sufficient. That's our justice system most of the time when it comes to these cases.
For sure.
And then to kind of go back, circle back around to Epstein. So Jeffrey Epstein he committed suicide on August 10, 2019. So we're almost a year later. And y'all remember the day that we announced that? That they announced it and we all saw it on Facebook. And what was the first thing we did? We laughed, we made memes, and we were like, yeah, he didn't kill himself. And it was funny to me because everybody was like, oh, the Clintons. And I'm sitting there thinking like,
they're not even a heavy hitters.
Y'all don't realize that the people involved, like the Clintons are here as far as people that want him dead. Like,
right.
It's way up here. So but again, it was just the fact that we knew immediately when we saw that. I'd say at least 95% of the country, not one person was like, oh my God, he killed himself. No, everybody knew that man didn't kill himself. And here we are, it took almost a year before, because this has really been, when y'all say like the last 2 weeks where everybody's really been like, yo, we need to do something about this. And I'm like, how is it that the smoke, the George Floyd aha moment wasn't when y'all realized that these elite people that have been allegedly involved in all of these things, pedophilia, satanic worship, all this stuff. When we realize that when we catch somebody, a key witness, a smoking gun, the first thing they're going to do is eliminate this person. Why wasn't that all hands on deck, sound the alarm? Like, we are living in a society, whether it be American society or global society, where the powers that be will do what they got to do to protect themselves. And how was that not nightmare scenario for everybody?
Right.
Realistic society that we created.
Right. If you fast forward about a month ago, Judge Esther Salas, her family, they put a hit on this woman's family. A FedEx worker shot her son in the heart and then shot her husband. Son was killed. Husband is, I believe, he's still in critical condition. Right as it's announced that she's about to be investigating the money ties to Epstein and all that stuff. And then people were like, well, he was a criminal defense attorney, so maybe no. There's coincidences in life, but come on now. Like as soon as it is made known that you were involved in this, your son and your husband, your son is murdered, and your husband is attempted murder. Like, and again, we was just like, oh, that's crazy, that's wild. No, it's not crazy. This is us right now. We are at that point where it's like, what? Like we are past put up or shut up time, but we are really at put up or shut up time. And when I mean put up, I'm not talking about putting up memes on Facebook.
Right. Well, we want to check the comments of the audience and see what do you guys think about this? Can you guys read some of the comments?
I mean, the comments is going off. We got some other users here. We got Ramona here. We got Melissa here. Melissa brought up, Ramona brought up Ghislaine Maxwell. I believe that's how you pronounce her name. So we definitely got to touch on her.
She's going to end up with COVID and die, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, because
the crazy part about that, because just circling back to the suicide. Do y'all remember when somebody spray painted on the courthouse or outside the jail? He did not kill himself. And Donald Trump, that's who, I don't know how that name escaped me. On the list is the name that escaped me.
Hold up, just which a lot of pictures with this man doesn't mean you know him. I mean, come on now. I take pictures with the same people all the time, and I don't really know them.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's crazy how people are willing to give a pay, because let's find a scenario, right? Let's take Bill Clinton, right? Let's say that Clinton didn't know. Now, I've seen some of this indictment. It's so look like he liked men and women, okay? Per these documents, by the way. Not my opinion, just per these documents. Melissa, you're right. Clinton's heavily involved, but far from the only one. Like, when you sit here and you look at it, when do you absolve people of their responsibility of knowing of situations, right?
Right.
Well, even Trump's involvement, his base already is okay with the grab him by the whatever comments, this multiple sexual allegations of rape and inappropriate conduct with women. They've ignored all of that, and they want to. Biden's this and Clinton is this and blah blah. But yet Trump is absolved of all of those behaviors, and then we're shocked when they're defending his relationship with Epstein as if he didn't know anything. They don't care. They don't care, and that's part of the problem. That's why these children are at risk, is because there's too many people that don't care because of identity politics and their own personal feelings about it. We have a bunch of people that don't know how to manage their own feelings.
Right. Let's get another comment.
Right, because I was about to say in the comments, you know, BJ Samuels was saying they will destroy your life before you even get to the doorbell. That's real. Like,
that's deep.
We watch so many movies that this happens, and I think it happens so much in movies to kind of desensitize. We live in a society where so many things have desensitized us. So people kind of remove things from their thought process. Yeah, that's just movie stuff.
People are not valued. They're disregarded now. They're not valued. They don't.
Yeah, it's like, and then let's take it a step further. Like, who makes movies? Hollywood. Who's involved in all this? Hollywood. So if you have this medium that you can use for propaganda to desensitize people, let's continue to make all these movies about people having hits put out on them and people disappearing and witnesses and things like that. Why?
The ads on Facebook popping up about pedophilia being a normal sexual orientation. That is popping up
to make it leak
regularly. Yeah. They're trying to desensitize and normalize it. And not that I'm saying that people with legitimate thoughts that are possibly, which I don't understand it, but yeah, if there are people that are legitimately like a 15-year-old, I heard of a story with a 15-year-old that reported to his school counselor that he had an attraction to children. I'm not saying that that individual or those people don't deserve to have some semblance of ability to talk about and prevent themselves from acting on it, but the way that it's being normalized on Facebook and Instagram and all these areas where it's an orientation, we should respect it. No. But they're trying to normalize it and desensitize us to it.
Yeah. But I think that you touched on a point that we made a couple of weeks ago. I can't remember what show we were doing, but I asked, the rest of the hosts, do you feel that pedophilia is a mental disease? Because when you sit here and you talk about pedophilia and all of the nuances of that, does that not sound like someone of psychopathic, sociopathic tendencies? And understand, I'm not writing anybody a pass. But what I'm saying is, we are so quick to throw people in jail. When jail originally was created to rehab people, it was supposed to be rehabilitation.
Right.
We're not doing that. And I'm not going to get into that because then it's going to segue into something else and it's going to throw me off topic. But we're not dealing with underlying issues as a society. So as our morals and our values in society continues to crumble, we're not dealing with the underlying issue ever. We're saying, oh, they're perverts, throw them in jail. Oh, they molest kids, they should go to jail.
People in jail.
Go to jail. You understand? It doesn't do anything for. And then they get out. Culture. Because if you think, go ahead, Fred. I'm sorry.
I want to get to this comment because this brings up a very responding to what Stephanie said. BJ Samuel says, "Nah, Stephanie, I never seen an ad where they said that it's normal." And Ramona's like, "BJ, yes, they are starting to pop up everywhere." Again, if you think about this, like Hollywood, the media, these moguls that control the information that we receive, now they're in a situation where more so than ever before, people are really starting to crack open this box. So what do? You start these campaigns to normalize it. Like we got to get it to where the point where people are, I don't want to say desensitized in this area, but to where it's out there, people are talking about it, decrease the shock value so that if and when this does crack open, maybe a year from now, because the thing that we need to know is that Miss Maxwell's trial date is set for July of next year. So in a year, if we can get pedophilia just out to where you've heard it to where
becomes the norm.
Things start going. Now it's like, all right, if we do get popped for these things, the punishment is lessened. You know, other people that are into pedophilia that aren't in our group, just regular everyday folks.
Tell him to just look up NAMBLA, which is North American Man-Based
Process. We can create a base of allies, and so it's like it's like Letitia, you always say, you play chess, not checkers. They've been playing chess forever.
Exactly.
With the checkerboard, we ain't even playing checkers. We've got the checkerboards and we stacking them up and making designs and everything like that. And they just been strategically moving pieces. And like I say, we're to the point now where it is so embedded in our power structure for this country, for other countries. It's like, yeah, if we do decide, like, again, we don't even know how to go about this, because this is not something that at least the American legal system is going to be able to handle, because the people that are in charge of the legal system are either in this club or they affiliated with the club. It's like, how do you prosecute people that got the whole government in their pocket, that are the entire government?
Well, you know, the jail system in itself, it's become a privatized industry anyway, because it's about money. So why would you rehabilitate people and lessen the population in jail if you've now privatized it for your monetary gain? And I say that, and I see some things in the comment. I again, like, I hate to always bring this up, but I say that, having been molested as a child, understand that I have no comfort in my accuser just being in jail, living out their life. I have no comfort in that. It doesn't get to the root of the issue. Mm-hmm. And then when you're dealing with situations where most people who commit crimes like this have impulse control issues. Let's start from the bottom, right? So that becomes the obsessive compulsive disorder situation. Now, I touched psychology in college, but that wasn't my thing. It did make enough money, and the money driven, don't judge me. OCD isn't typically diagnosed in children. And I know everybody on this panel has come across a child that we said, this kid has OCD. They display the signs and the tendencies. So this ties into my conversation about intervention and rehabilitation. If you don't intervene when you see the behavior as children, what is your expectation of them growing up to be?
Right.
You're not managing this before the impulse becomes compulsion and an act.
Right.
And I would rather it not happen at all than to punish you after you've already done it, because those scars never go away for some people. Some people can't move past it. Some people don't heal from that.
Mm-hmm.
That's trauma.
That's trauma to the 10th floor.
Right. It's a different, because we all, I read a statistic somewhere that said something about the American people. Most of us have PTSD of some form because of the society we live in. I don't at all dispute that, right? But when we're talking about these underlying traumas of sexual violation, is what I'm going to say, that becomes a different animal, and it scars people so different.
We got anybody that want to call in? You guys feel free to call in, and make sure you guys are sharing the video. Hit the like button.
Ramona Dye, Ashton Kutcher, and Demi Moore trying to bring light to the sex trafficking. Absolutely. I think I don't know if I was having a private conversation or we were on a show, but I posted a couple of weeks ago about the children that are still in these concentration camps, because that's what I call them. Mm-hmm. Remember, we had that whole ICE raid situation, and he was deporting people and children were left. Where are these children now? If we're talking about the corrupt government, we're talking about a corrupt government, right?
Well, look at the case that happened in McAllen, Texas, where they had those unmarked vans because ICE was using a third-party contracting company to deport these children that were staying at a Hampton Inn with no advocacies, no one to actually speak for them and help translate for them. And now those children are missing.
Right.
Listen, they did something with them. That's exactly where I was going with that. They're feeding, just like everything else in America, they allow a certain amount of drugs here. They allow a certain amount of illegal weapons here. And they're absolutely allowing human trafficking because it's a money-making business.
Yep.
So they're not going to stop it. They don't want it to stop. And too many people will be exposed. Too many.
It's a huge online enterprise, and there's a majority of it happening in the Philippines, and their number one customers is the United States of America, and it's a for-profit business. It's billions of dollars.
Absolutely.
Gross.
I'm Petty, y'all. For those of y'all that don't know me, I was going to touch into that, like the thing that, because y'all know I'm always going to go there. How many people have been essentially screaming about this at the top of their lungs? Mel Gibson, Ashton Kutcher, both the Corys, Corys' lives ruined. One of them actually took his own life because of this. The allegation against Charlie Sheen and this and that. People have been trying to expose this for years, and in typical fashion, sadly, what we do in America too often is we don't hear people when they talk. We have to wait until they scream and explode and act out.
But we don't do solutions either. We share the ice bucket challenge, or we do this and that, or we do 22 push-ups, or we just do these trendy things, but we don't actually have the majority of the people that are screaming actually do solution-based behaviors. And
that's why a lot of victims don't even want to come forward because they feel hopeless.
Yeah, because they see everybody clowning around and talking about it, but no one's doing anything.
But
and then everybody knew your
and
business.
And then the justice system fails them on top of it.
It also goes back to kind of where we started. It's like people have this, they look at America through these rose-colored glasses. And I tell you, this didn't do nothing. Like America is that kid in the courtroom where the judge is reading off a laundry list of things they've done. And the parent is sitting there like, no, my child would never do that. And the funny thing is, other people in that child's life, their teachers, their coaches, other adults are looking like, yep, that sounds like something he would do. But the parent is like, no, my child would never do that. And in this analogy, those other teachers and coaches are other countries in the world that look at how the world looks at America. And I get it. People's opinions of you aren't the end all be all. But when you're part of a community, if the collective community sees you as a certain way, at some point you can't just sit there and be like, no, I'm not like that. At some point you got to look and be like, okay, wait a minute. Why is it everybody thinks I'm like that? And America sits here, we steer this glass bubble, we're the greatest nation, and oh my God, America, and our doo-doo doesn't stink. We would never do this, never do that, and we would never, and I can't believe. So when you hear these things about Hollywood, and I get it, it's tough because we see these celebrities and we have our celebrities that we like, we have celebrities that we dislike, and you don't want to believe that people that you watch in movies and television and listen to their albums would do these things. So when it's brought and put in your face, like, here, look, this is what happened. You're like, nah, there's no way that John Legend would do that. There's no way that Jay-Z and Beyonce would do that. Not Barack. Oh, no, not this person. And
we
again,
don't know these people.
We have the ability to look at ourselves as
who do you know, Elena? You know what I mean? Who do you really know? Think about the things that people around you have been accused of. That you would say, you know, we take too much comfort in feeling like we know people or we know their character. You know,
the Facebook page is not a true representation of who they really are. People think that it is, but it isn't. Even someone like me who talks nonstop all over my Facebook page, y'all don't know me. No one really knows what I'm going through behind the scenes, you know? And because we're in more of a quarantined, isolated world more prevalently now, none of us really know what's going on. You can put what you want out there. And not, unless you're living with that person or you spend time with them at work, you don't know. It's the same thing with celebrities. They'll show us what they want us to see.
Right.
And we will argue and scratch and fight tooth and nail, defending celebrities, talking about people that we don't know. And it's always baffled me, like our obsession with the lives of celebrities. And I'm like when we talked about who we talking about a couple weeks ago, Will and Jada. And we were all kind of like, yeah, we really don't want to talk because I don't know these people. My relationship with Will is, look, you make hot music, you make hot movies. Once they sell cut and the camera goes off, that's it. I don't know your life. But we will sit here and we will argue about people that we don't even know. And it's like, well, and you ask yourself, like, well, why wouldn't this person do that? What do you know about this person to where you would bet your life and everything you own that this person would never do that? Or that this person would never do that? Or if they did do that, well, they must have had a good reason. Somebody must have did something, blah, blah, blah. And they, like, it's crazy, this celebrity worship that we have. And then when it comes to now situations where these people are being accused of these, like, I don't even have adjectives to describe some of the things that I've heard about. Heinous, horrific, just
right.
And then we're like, well, because we don't want to believe it. But I'm like, why? This is a complete stranger. You don't know this person from Adam. All you know is that they're good at whatever craft of entertaining. That's all you know. They're good at a sport.
Well, speaking of what you do know, I know that we got to go to a commercial break. It's 30 minutes in. We're going to a commercial break. When we come back, Love Show, we're going to continue on the topic. Y'all, don't touch that dial. We got to pay some bills. All right? See you in a moment. This is where we let our voices empower. Let's go. All right, we are back with the Love Show, letting our voices empower, giving these lovely hosts a few minutes to relax because, I mean, they was going in, man. Listen, let me tell you the sign of a great show real quick. The sign of a great show is when the show goes by real fast. We are already 30 plus minutes into the show, and we just getting warmed up. By the way, later on in the show or at the end of the show, we will tell you the website where you can go and order, purchase all your Rise Up family stuff. We'll be able to get that to you after the show. We had to pay some bills. We are back. All right. Where do we leave off?
I want to start
The comment.
Melissa's comment, actually.
Okay, let's read some comments.
Melissa said, we all have our demons and hidden secrets. She also said, look at serial killer families. Oftentimes, they're absolutely shocked because they don't show the side of them, even though they've been married and lived in the same house for a long time. I think that points to the fact that we don't know anyone.
Right.
And Letitia, you to get out of my head because I was literally that was a comment I was literally going to.
I mean, it just stuck out. Like, we're talking about knowing people, and people can hide anything that they want to hide, any deficiency, anything that makes them fearful. People can hide it. So you cannot say, well, I know this person. Do you?
Right.
Because most people don't even know their self, if we're going to be perfectly honest.
And so, and again, I don't know what it is about y'all ladies being in my head, because Stephanie just in my head, because I was gonna be like, okay, so we pretty much know what the problem is. And I'm gonna say I'm out of like solutions. Like ladies, what do we do? Does anybody have like an idea as far as like how do we even begin to tackle this monster? Like, because I feel like we are a colony of ants and there's a herd of elephants over there that we need to tackle. And I'm like,
well, I think we got two things we need to identify: the why, the motivation, right? In order to solve any problem, you got to figure out the why.
yes,
You've
ma'am.
got a mental illness. So the actual pedophiles or the people that are doing the abuse have some severely disturbing mental states. So that's problem and why, number one. And two is the value we put on money in the capitalistic society that we have, because there would not be people, mothers, desperate people in other countries that are selling their own children and other children online because they desperately need money because of the class systems that we've created and the capitalistic society that we've created, especially in America, where it's been individualistic for way too long. So how do we, to me, those are the two main things that really hit the nail on the head for me as to how this continues to get perpetuated. And to me, it's why are we putting so much value on the dollar? How do we change that? And how do we get people to stop looking at what they can get for themselves and consume? Because that breeds that power and that selfishness rather than empathy and compassion. And then how do we help people that have these impulses, have these health problems, have more access to safe care to prevent them from harming children?
I'm glad you the why, because y'all, I love so we keep it 100, right? Or as Dre would say, we keep it a buck.
Keep it a buck, please.
All right,
Please.
I'm about to jump in this pool, and y'all can let me drown.
Keep it a buck.
Okay, we talking about the why. Let's not ignore the fact that if you start to look into this and start to Google stuff and start to get into this little rabbit hole, satanic worship always rears its head, and Illuminati and things like that, and this lust for power. So we're talking about the why, because as Letitia, you touched on the mental illness and exactly what pedophilia is. Okay, that might be part of a why people would want to, have these children and have sexual relations with small children. But let's keep it real. We're talking about people with power, with fame. So it ain't a sex thing, because these are people that can have sex with, like
Anybody.
On the pick of the litter, like walk into a room, point them out. So I mean, we gotta address this whole satanic worship, lust for power, the adrenochrome, and the fact
sacrifices and all that other stuff.
Claims to be a descendant of Vlad the Impaler. Everybody know Vlad the Impaler is the inspiration for who? Count Dracula, vampire, blood, like, hey. So, I mean, I'm just like, we're looking at the why. I mean, that's because Stephanie, I agree with you 100%. The value of the dollar, and why is it that so many people are so willing to trade their livelihood, their children's livelihood and safety and things like that for money. But again, why are these people requesting these children, needing these children, craving these children, wanting these children? And I mean,
Control.
Conspiracy theory, because you talk
control.
It's all about control. That's it.
It's harder to control a grown adult that has the ability to reason and fight for themselves rather than groom a child that doesn't know any different.
Right.
And I'm not saying that's the only reason, but that's sure as heck the main reason, in my opinion, because it's.
I think that's the only reason. Because certain things would
Respect
not
or
fly with an adult.
trauma, they get high off of that. When they can push a child to an edge or they can control the situation, that is an aphrodisiac to someone who has major deep control issues.
For sure.
Ramona says, if pets start disappearing in the neighborhood and little Jimmy happens to have a collection of bones, maybe we should step up and say there's a problem before John Malcolm Johnson becomes the next serial killer. Maybe he can't be helped. And again, it's like, yeah, but like again, y'all know that this is one of my things. Is like we just red flags, warning signals right in our faces, and as society, we just for some reason we just overlook it. I don't know if it's just because. And then Stephanie, you and I have talked about this. As America, we're such an individualistic society that we figure like, oh, well, I can't do anything because we haven't realized. Like we always talk about, oh, the elite, the 1%. Well, the flip side of 1% is 99%. If we all unified and get 99% of us together, it's not that hard to take out 1%. But if we're looking like, well, I'm 1%,
don't they take out on live
government, how am I going to take down Hollywood? Well, if you just bother to look outside yourself, you will see that everybody in your community is saying the exact same thing. So now you went from one person thinking that to 200 people thinking that. So
I want to go back to what Stephanie was saying about our society and social classes, because I think that the bulk of our issues in our society it boils down to the social classes. It boils down to the haves and the have-not.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You are in a society that thrives on capitalism, and these guys are money hungry and drunk with power, because that's the biggest thing. Drunk with power. It creates a niche market. You have people with money, children unattended. And let's remove the disease from that. Let's remove the psychological aspect, and let's just talk about the power aspect. I have this, you don't. I get to prey upon you, and you have spare children. I want your kids. And there's such a disparity in our social classes that somebody would actually offer up their child. I'm not going to judge anybody. I feel strongly about it, but I'm not going to go there. But what I'm going to say is,
I'm judging if you're selling your children. I'm judging.
And I say that, but when so there are things that I'm fortunate enough to not have to go through. With 5 children, most people struggle to feed their family. And after divorce, people have an even harder time. That is not my life. I am blessed to do this without government assistance. And we just live comfortably. But there are people who don't. And the more children you have, the harder it is to put food on the table. So while I want to judge you and say you jacked up, when you have limited resources, limited education, when you can't keep a roof over their head or food in their stomach, sometimes somebody got to go. And it happens more than not. But we're looking at selling children, but what about those who are madams and their daughters end up doing favors for money? Is that any less egregious?
No, that's terrible.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but when you don't have the means, like illegal aliens, they've made it impossible for them to seek sanctuary here, right? So now you're sitting up here, you're on a run with children, you need to feed these children, and you don't have any means. What are you going to do? Some slippery individual comes and tells you they can provide a good life for your child. And you know people, they are able to manipulate, especially when you're dealing with somebody who's desperate. I can give your child a better life.
They don't even have to be that desperate.
More comfortable. And the next thing you know, mama has given up 2 of her kids. Because it's not always just the South. sometimes they're finesse, and other times they're just leaking.
I mean, and to that point,
Illegally. My apologies, Frank. Go ahead.
they don't even have to be that desperate because last time we talked about pedophilia, who were we talking about a lot of? R. Kelly. How many people essentially offered up their daughters just for the dream of fame and success? It wasn't
I was
even.
just going to say that.
Why though? But why? The reason why, it again goes back to capitalism. And it's not that I'm trying to be, Stephanie the socialist or whatever. It's going to get all in the comments. Oh, she wants this. What I'm saying is we've been programmed generationally
Absolutely.
to see this thing that we think that we want to have. It's in our Instagram. It's like we see a purse that we might initially think is ugly, but then we happen to see it everywhere. And all of a sudden we think we need it and we have to have it. So we got to work harder. We work hard for the man. We make corporations richer so that we can consume stuff that we think that we want or need, because we've been programmed to believe that. And that keeps the train running. And all of these problems we have, even people that commit crimes usually commit crimes out of desperation. Cops don't prevent crimes. They show up after one's happened. What actually prevents crimes is opportunity and support and community. That's what we've created. Our individualistic, capitalistic society has created a lot of me first, consume, and then we start to believe that if we can't maintain a lifestyle, we're poor. I'm living paycheck to paycheck and I'm poor. No, you're not. You're just trying to maintain Netflix and everything else. So people get desperate because they have been told that they need to feel this way all the time, that we need to stress about money, and that we put this arbitrary value on something that is actually literally destroying lives.
Literally.
Real quick, we got to remember that all of us are born and raised in America, the land of milk and honey. So from birth, we've had the American dream. There's always, no matter how bad you are, there's light at the end of the tunnel. Other people don't have that. So when we're talking about judging people or not judging people, in America, no matter how bad your situation gets, there's always in the back of your mind, if I get that, if just one thing goes right, I can be okay. Imagine growing up in a place where you weren't ingrained with that, to where you're looking around like, this is my reality right now. I don't see any way for it to get better. And then, as Letitia said, somebody come to you talking slick, hey, I can do this, I can help you with that. Well, we got to go with that because we don't have any other options. In America, we always see, whether it's real or not, we always see there's a parachute. Because at the very least, you got public assistance and things like that. There is a parachute there for us in America. We got to think this is a worldwide problem. There are societies and cultures out there. There is no parachute. This is it. We got one bowl of rice to last for the week, and there's 7 of us.
Yeah, and they will sell their oldest daughter for money,
So
their oldest child.
you have to understand that our thought of American desperation is a lot less than a lot of times world desperation, because, again, just the environment that we've grown up in. In the comments, Melissa, she was talking about, adrenochrome is rampant, and the reason many are having weird behavior is, as of late, their adrenochrome supply is running low, and withdrawals and side effects are horrible. Which, that's a valid point. Again, and when you start to looking into adrenochrome, and it seems very far-fetched and conspiracy theory-ish, but as Stephanie and I were talking the other day, I'm like, we should be at the point of society where if somebody tells you something, your first reaction should be like, all right, tell me more. Like we should be very well past nah, that's crazy. Nah, that can never. Because how much crazy have we seen in just 2020 alone? Like, not even going your whole lifetime, just in 2020 alone. How many crazy things that you thought you would never see, never happen, never hear about. So, I mean, these things, and they sound crazy, they sound far-fetched, but it's like, we need to stop dismissing things just, when we hear it and it sounds crazy, and dismiss it, and maybe be like, okay, hold up, tell me a little bit more about that. Let me put some okay, 2 and 2, does that make sense? Because again, what makes more sense? That these people are just, hey, I just want to have sex with a bunch of children, or I'm doing all this crazy stuff for power, control, money. Like, what makes more sense?
Both.
It's just disturbing all the way around.
It's
just disturbing.
It's beyond disturbing, because again, when you think about how deep this problem goes and how widespread it is, and then and again, Stephanie, I'm 100% with you with the capitalism, the power of money in our society, in American society, in human society, just this desire to have things, to want things, and then the people that have things. Because I mean, we talk about capitalism, and I'm glad you mentioned, like, okay, anytime you say anything negative about capitalism, people automatically, well, you're a socialist or you're a communist, and it's like, no, it's just the reality. And I've said this before: capitalism is a beautiful system. The problem with capitalism is people. Because if creatures that were decent were in charge of, like if dogs were in charge of capitalism, capitalism would work fine. Because dogs are great creatures as far as dogs are decent and loving. And it's like, hey, I have a bone, you have a bone. Cool. You have this, I have that. Supply and demand. But humans and our just big
Greed.
our greed and things like this, like, yeah, supply and demand. I have this, you need this. Wait, how much do you need this? Okay, cool. It's only worth that.
Example, Clorox bleach. When the pandemic started, Clorox bleach at a gallon was on average $2. Now Clorox bleach $5 to $6 a gallon.
Supply and demand. I have it, you need
what
it.
We've put value on. We've put a numeric value on a piece of paper. We've shifted in our materialism. What is valuable to us is more about materialism now than experiences or relationships or connection. It's about consumption. It's about materialism. And generationally, we've done that. We've programmed ourselves to see value in consumptive, materialistic ventures rather than community and being the village that we were once intended to be. Like if you had I'm assuming, I wasn't there, but back in the day, if you had a tribe and one person went out and caught quite a few fish and the other person only caught a couple, you shared fish with the tribe. We watched each other's babies. We were a tribe, and we've lost that. And we've put value in things that are arbitrary and can never sustain. And that's why we're always going to be chasing the carrot. And for some people, it's sex with children. Some people, it's power. Some people, it's connection and awareness. And we've got to stop chasing and be more just present.
I think that only touches just the tip of the iceberg, because when people say that, it sounds like you have to be either or. And it isn't true. No. You don't have to pick a side of the fence. Because let's be honest, there are things that make you more comfortable.
Sure.
There are things that make life more comfortable. So we always have to be careful about how we present that. Because I want more, and I love capitalism. I think that it's egregious that people are greedy, but I like capitalism. And the reason I like capitalism is because the more I work, the more I earn. Now, you flip the script, and there are some people who have enough, had enough, and they seek to devour versus to grow. Because that's the difference. What we're really talking about in layman's terms is those people who eat to be full and satisfied, and those people who eat to be gluttonous and stuff. In layman's terms, that's what we're talking about. So how do we start to program ourselves in society and understanding what is enough?
I agree.
Are there any solutions in the comment section from the audience? Because I would like to hear some. Because I don't know, y'all.
Melissa said the Amish are an amazing example of that to this day.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They live a simplistic life. Not like me. They live a simplistic life and community. And I embrace that because I'm a mama bear. My house is the community house. There's no telling how many children at random you're going to find in my house, and I feed everybody's children, and I can't get rid of them. But this is my life, and I like it that way because I have plenty. And I tell my children, bless people, bless people.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're sitting there and you're saying, we have to embrace the moment, I think we can embrace the moment and chase the riches too.
I agree.
Understanding, and I'm not tearing you down, don't think I'm attacking you.
No.
Understanding that because of today's capitalism, people don't really want to bring people to the table to eat together. Mm-hmm. They want their own table, and you have to figure out how to get your own table. No, there's plenty for all of us to eat at this same table even doing the same thing. Because look at our panel. We have Stephanie and Frederick and Vitamin E, myself and Andre. We all do a little bit of the same thing, but different. We all bring something different to the table, but it wouldn't be this harmonious without these people in a space. And I think that's the bigger part of what Stephanie is pointing to.
I agree with you. Like I want my stuff from Amazon. I want to collect some things. I think what I meant is that society in general, just by the way that we've been advertised to, or our media programming, if we want to talk about Hollywood really trying to get us to put value somewhere, I think that we've been trained to put an obscene amount of value on materialism, to where some people that don't have the emotional support or the community that healthy people do chase after money. That's why addiction is so much more prevalent and a problem in areas or families where they don't have community support or emotional support.
You're absolutely right.
Like even my father had a hip replacement and knee replacement. He was on oxy something. I mean, a lot of these really heavy drugs that most people can get addicted to. But he has support. He has a good job. He has, a reasonable amount of wealth. So he didn't really have as many struggles to chase after that drug because he didn't have as much emptiness. So I think I agree with you when there's nothing wrong with wanting more or wanting to gain more wealth, but having the mindfulness of the real value is in the connection and in the community and the experiences, and that there is more joy in giving to others. So consume the wealth and share, like you said, at the table. And that helps create more sense of community where we don't have sick people chasing after other people's, taking advantage of trauma and hurting others, because hurt people hurt people.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Comments real quick. So Sharon Mullen says, "So why, Letitia?" Again, agreeing with you, loving capitalism. And then BJ Samuel says, "Facts. T come home to 75 kids and just be like, okay."
BJ. That's my brother, y'all. He's perky.
And then Melissa Bowden says, "Enough is never enough for some of them," talking about wealthy people. I'll say most of the extremely wealthy I've been around are some of the most depressed and ugly-hearted individuals. Yeah, because we got a lot of people at the top of their industry, celebrities and wealth, and they still commit suicide and they're still depressed because, again, that old adage, which I just want to volunteer myself for this experience. They say money can't buy happiness. I'll volunteer myself for the alpha beta.
Money has plenty of happiness. When you have 5 children and you can buy some food and they are full, guess what? Because Stephanie understand, Elena understand, that is called happiness. They are leaving us alone.
They're good.
Look at both my kids and say, no, we can't eat out, or no, we can't go to the movies. We don't have any money. That's not happy. Nobody's happy. When I say, yeah, we can go to the movies, they're like, yay. It'll buy a little bit of happiness. I haven't seen a depressed person on a jet ski before.
Right.
There's a rich person out there. I volunteer myself. I will volunteer to sacrifice my mental health, my peace of mind, give me some money, and then check my happiness in a year.
Right. I'm with you, Fred. I'm with you.
It is about self-awareness. That's another thing. It's about self-awareness too. We can all get caught up in chasing after something, but it's if we don't have the accountability, the community, or people say, look, am I being a little too extra? Am I spending? It's about community and connection, so that you have people to kind of talk about, why am I chasing after this? Why am I buying more things than I really can afford? What's the happening down here that I'm not feeling satiated by these purchases? And having those constant check-ins and being aware. I know that's off the topic of pedophilia at this point, but I think that's where this breeds.
Touching the root of these issues, as you talk about what is satisfying. My grandmother used to say, only broke, unstable people say that money can't buy happiness. And I used to laugh when she said that, but as I become an adult and I realized, going back to our conversation about not knowing even yourself, when you are not aware of yourself, when you are not aware of the things that make you uncomfortable about yourself, you are an unhappy individual. So you can have money, And like we see these stars, they coke themselves out, they drink themselves into an oblivion. They have all of these reckless behaviors because they're not content with themselves. Right. So we want to go back to just pedophilia because we all over the place. Let's take it back to where I was going to rehab. My mother used to say all the time, when we're born, we get a pediatrician. They make sure that happens. We also need mental health, and people don't value mental health. And it starts early. It starts so early in life, and you have to. All of my children see a therapist. I put that out there because when I got to the point where I knew I was going to divorce, they needed somebody to talk to other than mommy and daddy. They stay in therapy because they have somebody to talk to other than mommy and daddy. And sometimes my boys tell me too much. But I know that I'm dealing with reasonably balanced young people because think about it. We don't make sure these children have mental health. And how crazy were you as a teenager? Because I was pretty crazy. So if we're not tapping into that early, like we need preventative. Sometimes go talk to your psychologist before I kill you as a mother.
Go talk to somebody right now. Please go.
You be angry. Keep that to yourself. I'm crazy by myself in my room. I almost let it slip. Woo. But you know, mental health is key to all of these things on a surface, us little people level. When we start talking about these issues as communities, mental health is at the root of a lot of this. When you come out of that bubble of community and we talk about bigger powers like the government, then we're talking about capitalism. We're talking about greed. We're talking about, and then greed, I feel, was a learned behavior. I don't think that people are just inherently, well, some people are inherently evil, but that doesn't happen often. These are usually learned behaviors, in my opinion. Maybe, I'm a little
funny. Yo, Andre.
Speaking of which, we about to tap into paying some more bills real quick. We are at the hour mark already. All right, you know what you're watching. Don't touch that dial. Stay tuned. It is the Love Show. This is Power, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back in a moment. Oh, and when we come back, by the way, I have to tell you this. We will get into the rise of a man down game. We'll let the panel pretty much touch on the last couple, topics and things that they need to touch on. And then we're going to get into this rise of a man down game. A whole lot of fun, all right? Stay tuned. All right, we are back. We are back, letting our voices empower. By the way, after the show, make sure you tune in to the Alphabets football show that will be on tonight as Marcus Betts, Ramona Die cook up something special for you guys. All right, on the ones and twos on the sports Rise Up Family Sports Network, and you can tune into it on the OnPoint Network. All right, now we are back, ladies and gentlemen, Frederick, Elena, Stephanie, Letitia. Man, this has been a really, 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 really dope show. Any final comments to topics that we've been talking about? We'll get into this game called Rise Up for Band Down, and I'm going to explain it specifically. It's going to be a really good game.
Just to echo with a lot of things the ladies on the panel have said, and then I know Melissa and Ramona were kind of talking about in the comment thread as far as moving forward solutions. I mean, we've got to get back to a village mentality. I mean, because it's the individualism that goes on in this country. I mean, this, like I say, this problem is deep, and it's going to take a collective group effort to get to the bottom of this, get these people out. When these names come out, hold these people accountable, hold the people who are supposed to hold the people accountable. So, I mean, we got to, it sounds cliche, but we have to come together. We are not going to solve this problem without coming together and collectively saying, like, we are not going to tolerate this existing in our country and in our world.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you, Fred. I mean, honestly, it's so much bigger than a village, because I think we've lost so much. People just have kind of tapped out of just what is real, what is decent, what is human, and what is beneficial for everyone. People are not looking at what's beneficial for their neighbor. They don't take one for the team anymore. And as we grow as a society and we want to thrive, we have to instill those morals and those values back into our children, our families, loving our neighbor, and forgive me for those who do not believe, being Christians. And I don't say that limiting it to Christianity. I say that in just loving all.
And love is a verb too. It's not just
Action word.
I love you, hate the sin, love the sinner type of. It's an action. How do we love our neighbor rather than just have warm fuzzy feelings? And I also think, along with Melissa saying mental health being more mainstream and it should not be so stigmatized. Same thing with people talking about their feelings, especially our men, our boys. Our previous generations have done a disservice to all of us when we've been told not to talk about politics, not to talk about religion, don't talk about your feelings, don't cry. Girls, don't be so extra, don't be over dramatic. That hasn't helped anybody. So therefore we repress, we don't deal, and then we take it out on everybody.
Right. I agree with everybody. Number one, mental health awareness for sure. And for any of our viewers that are watching, if you guys have any solution as far as what we can do about this also, please use your platforms that you have and speak out. It can no longer be swept under the rug. People have the attitude where, oh, well, it's not happening to me, so I'm not going to worry about it. But just because it might not be in your backyard right now, who's to say that it won't? You won't be affected by it'll hit home, a close loved one or somebody close to you, just because it hasn't happened yet. So use your platform and speak out and do what you can do as far as change.
Yes, yes. All right. So what are we doing now? Let's get into this game, Dre.
Oh, listen carefully. Listen carefully. I'm here. I heard everything that was said. Appreciate the show. Everybody who was tuned in, throw some likes and hearts in the air if you on Facebook right now for these lovely folks who bring it week to week consistently on the highest level of empowerment. All right. Rise up or man down pretty much is a game where it's almost like trivia, but this is how we're going to do it. We're going to make it real simple today. I'm going to ask a question to you guys on the panel. I'm going to give you 3 options, and you have to guess which option the fire starter would like the most. I know you would probably behoove yourself to answer in your own manner what you like, but I would behoove you to do the opposite. So let me give you an IE example. The fire starter here likes sports, right? Which sport do I like the most? Would it be basketball, hockey, or baseball? A simple question like that. And you have to guess which one it is. And there's a little whoosh to the game. If you get 3 answers wrong, whoosh, you're going to have to mute your mic because the game is going to go on until we finally got a winner. A definitive winner, by the way. All right? Which might be Letitia. It might be Sister Gunna. It might be the evangelist. It might be Vitamin E, the one who feeds the people. Get into it, right? Get into it. It might be Stephanie Tablin. It might be Stephanie. Stephanie might come in here and shock the world. She might shock the world. She might get them all right. Or it might be Frederick, the guy who loves Las Vegas in the back, but is a 49ers fan in real life.
We're not going to talk about that, Dre.
Always got to get him. Always got to get him. Always. Listen. All right. So, by the way, if you're in the comments, you can put in the comment section what you think the answer is too as well. Don't be giving away no answers though. And I see y'all probably gonna be looking in the comment section for answers, but it's all good. We're gonna play this little game real quick, and we're gonna have fun. All right. So my first question of the day is: out of these 3 states, which one do you think I like the most? Florida, California, or Texas?
Who are you asking? All of us?
All of you got to answer.
All right, I'm going to go Texas.
What were the choices again? California, Texas, and what? Florida?
Yes, Florida, California, Texas.
I'm going with Texas. Texas.
Yeah, Texas too.
Texas. She's playing checkers. She's playing chess already.
I'm not. I just have no way of gauging this. This is ridiculous.
It ain't supposed to be.
Okay, they all said Texas.
It ain't supposed to be easy.
I don't. I don't play games for leisure. California.
All right, so I'm gonna read the comment section first. Bonte Hicks said Texas. Melissa said Texas. Frederick said Texas. Stephanie said Texas. Vitamin E said Texas. And whatever happened to background looking like she got the full out background in the back.
Family Matters.
It is right. It is not any of those. Terrible. You all get a strike. It's Florida.
Why?
I'm from Florida.
Hey, some of us, hey, watch your mouth now. Some of us born in Florida.
I'm from Florida. Okay.
It was a little stank on that, but that was a little stank why. I wasn't just a why, like, oh, why? That was a
Ernest Oliver said California too. It's Florida. All right, so you all got a strike just to start. All right, keep it up with your strikes now. Y'all got one strike. All right, just don't get a turkey. Don't get a turkey, okay? All right. Question number 2. They're gonna get more interesting. Questions will get more interesting. Question number 2. What is my favorite food?
hell.
How am I supposed to know this? How
Is it? Well, you better guess. That's the whole point. The whole point.
What the comment section has been to dinner.
are we filling out a Tinder profile for you?
Absolutely. Fill out the Tinder profile.
It is to guess the favorites of somebody you don't physically spend time with.
That's
I
okay.
want the audience to know that this is ridiculous.
It's all good. It's all good. Listen, have at it. Is it pizza?
The Texas is better, by the way.
I heard Vontae say that. Okay.
What's your favorite food?
Right. What's my favorite food? Is it pizza? Is it chicken wings? Or is it spaghetti?
Chicken wings for the win.
I say spaghetti.
You know what?
Based on no information whatsoever.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, you didn't give us a hint.
I'm gonna keep
All right,
it.
give you no hints. You don't get no hints.
I'm gonna say it. You black and you from Buffalo. I'm gonna go with wings. Like, just whatever. I don't care.
All right. So
I'm gonna go with pizza. Just
And we can do it the best, baby. Buffalo do it the best, baby.
the best. That's right. Yes. That's right, honey. Yes, definitely. Let me read the comment section. Vontae said pizza. Sharon said wings. Ernest says spaghetti. Dennis says spaghetti. Melissa says spaghetti.
What is it, Jerry?
The correct answer. Oh, Letitia said pizza.
Mm-hmm.
Vitamin E said chicken.
Mm-hmm.
Stephanie said spaghetti. Frederick said chicken.
Right.
Chicken. Letitia, you have the correct answer. It's pizza. Yeah.
Every time I see him eating, it's pizza. So
See, at least you paid some attention.
pay attention on it, but I'm not around you on this other stuff.
You paid attention. Now, that
Hey,
means you guys have
I'm
2
calling
strikes already.
Which
Good Lord Almighty.
Hold up. I'm gonna throw the challenge flag. I'm calling East Coast bias.
East Coast bias.
East Coast bias.
Right, 2. Now, I'm gonna ask everybody in the comment section right now.
I didn't say darn. Sharon said
Right, Nerdy said nah.
I said fooey. Y'all mess.
The first person to comment in the comment section, what music do you think I should play in the background while we do this? Put it in the comment section. The first one to comment, that's the song I'm putting in this background. Gotta put a little background music, a little swag
Do I get to comment?
All right. Stephanie Tapley just tapped into something very interesting when she mentioned about filling out a Tinder application.
Oh.
Well, we're gonna get deep into some questioning now, in which Stephanie just tapped into. Folks, this is a love show. I think it was last week we had a certain show, last week where we talked about a certain topic in which we talked about sex work. Well,
It was hot.
it was hot. This next question is probably going to be network hot. What position do you think is Andre's favorite?
Fred, flag on the play. Where's your flag?
Oh boy!
Fred, like, I don't know, man.
You talking about tenderoni? You talking about tender? You talking about tenders and things of that nature? We might as well get a little fun here.
I just want to know that we did not agree to these questions. It's going off himself,
No.
and I don't want to talk about it.
So
I don't want to talk about it.
You can thank Melissa for this one.
Thanks, Melissa. I still love you, honey. Thanks.
And you can thank Stephanie for this one too. Stephanie left your jack. That's cute. All right. Is it the conventional Sierra ride? Is it?
Yeah. No, you answering this. Yeah.
Stephanie, that's what you get. You started it.
Someone get this back. Someone get it back.
Ernest said doggy style. Vontae Hicks said.
I'm not really gonna ask the question. That was just one part. Look at Stephanie's face. Yo, all right. Real question here.
They try to answer in the comment section too.
That'd be too.
Ernest. Melissa said, "Wait, how am I at fault for this one?" I don't know.
You're not at fault. You're not at fault for this one, Melissa. It's Stephanie's fault, but it's okay. We're gonna bring it back. All right. What is my favorite sports team? My favorite sports team out of these three teams. Is it? Look at his face.
Oh, that's not fair. Fred gonna know this one.
Oh no, maybe not. Is it the Colorado Avalanche? Is it the Toronto Blue Jays? Or is it the Miami Heat?
I said Toronto.
I don't even know what his basketball team is.
Melissa. Reverse cowgirl final answer.
Melissa,
that's how you were at fault for this. How you gonna talk about how am I at fault for this? And you gonna throw that in the chat? That's how you were at fault. That right there. Look at you telling like
you the goat, Melissa. Don't listen to that. You the goat. So Vontae Hicks says the Heat. Dennis Holmes said the Heat because he a sucker.
Ooh.
Said none of the above.
Wow. Really now, Dennis Holmes. Really? Okay. How about those Celtics that might get beat by Boston coming up and keep playing around while you talk? It ain't the okay. So go ahead and answer.
For no good reason. I'm torn between two of those. I'm gonna go with the Jays, Blue Jays.
Stephanie said Blue Jays. Frederick said Blue Jays.
Letitia says Blue Jays.
You said Blue Jays. What's your answer?
No good reason.
Blue for the final answer.
So we up. Okay.
You all are correct. It is the Toronto Blue Jays. The Toronto Blue Jays are an affiliate of the Buffalo Bisons. And they actually start playing here next week, in which I'll be covering Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
It's lit. It's lit.
So thank you. Yes, the Blue Jays. So you all got it right. So right now, I think Letitia has 2, Stephanie has 1, Frederick has 1, Vitamin E has 1, but I think some people have 2 strikes. 2 strikes. Yep, 2 strikes on a couple folks in here. Letitia has 1 strike.
Everybody has 2.
Letitia, you don't know me, honey. I'm just messing. All right. Let's see here. Ask a new question. Oh, here's a good question. Who is my favorite music artist?
Oh, this is some freaking Michael bull.
Yes, it is Michael Baby.
What's the choices?
The choices are Michael Jackson, James Brown, or Aretha Franklin.
I'm gonna say Michael Jackson because it should be. That's the only reason why. It should be.
James Brown.
I don't care what it is. It should be Mike.
Fred, that's your final answer.
That's my final answer.
I think that's how you play the game, but okay.
First of all, this is a dirty question.
Aretha Franklin. I'm gonna try to be the eyeball.
Look, Vontae Hicks said Tupac, Prince, like
R. Kelly.
Tavon said
Those are even in the conversation. I said Michael Jackson, Aretha Franklin.
Aretha. Ernest said Aretha. Sharon said James Brown.
Melissa, you said 12 play. You said 12 play, Melissa. R. Kelly. She said R. Kelly.
Kunta Kinte head to head.
Yeah, I'm going with Aretha. I'm going all out.
What is it? Which one is it, Dre?
Ooh.
Who knows what he listened to in the shower? We don't know.
You don't need to.
Ooh.
You sure don't need to know that. But I'm going to play the answer for y'all right now.
James Brown.
And I was leaning James because I got the big. James Brown makes perfect sense given who you are as a person.
Yes. All right. So everybody, so it's between me and Letitia. Me and Elena are out.
Yeah, I'm out.
So
Me and Letitia.
Mute your mics.
Wait, I got one right. Wait, I've only gotten one wrong.
Yeah.
The first one wrong.
It's between Stephanie and Letitia.
Oh, I thought it was okay. I thought Fred said him.
Yeah. You got those two.
My bad. Sorry.
Those two. Mute your mics. All right. Yes, Papa don't take no mess, Sharon. Absolutely. Yes. Listen, my dad died at 84. Love him to death. But he introduced me to James Brown first before I knew Michael. All right. I knew about James Brown and Boosie Collins and those.
Be an old one though, because you are a soulful man. So it was the dance between Aretha and James.
Mm-hmm. And I love Aretha too, by the way.
And that's why I was sitting here. Like I know Michael was Michael, but I knew it was old.
I love Mike, but
soul.
It's definitely James. All right. Here's the last question. All right. So we are almost out of time. And the question is, if you had to take away one of these things, which one would it be? Sports, music, or dancing?
Dancing.
Which one would you take away?
Dancing. As much as he was a dancing machine in his day, I think that his passion for sports and music outweigh the dance.
I don't even know you that well, and I still think I agree with Letitia on that one. I think dancing.
And I hope I know my brother enough to know.
All right. Okay. Y'all both right. All right. We have to have a definitive winner, so I have to ask this last question. This is going to be a real easy, simple question. All right. From the number 1 to 20, I'm holding up a number right now. Which number do you think it is? The number 4?
Not doing
you think it's the number 4, the number 12, or the number 16?
You're holding it up, what, with your fingers? Because that's not statistically possible. Is it a card? Is it?
Oh, no, yeah. I wrote it down on the piece of paper. I'm holding it down here.
4, 12, or 16?
4, 12, or 16? Which one?
You know,
412.
there's no skill involved in any of these guesses, right?
Maybe. Maybe.
4.
That's your answer, Stephanie?
Mm-hmm.
All right, what's your answer, Letitia?
I actually agree 4, but I think we should give it to Stephanie because she's the guest. We're not going to do this with you, Dre. You know I love you. Sharon says 4. Vontae says 16. Ernest says 12. Ron Thomas says 16. Melissa says 16.
Y'all know what the answer is?
No.
Well, what did you say, Letitia? It was 4? You said it's 4. Why y'all agreeing with each other? I'm trying to make a winner here. Okay.
It's not an agreement. It's just if we share the same answer. Come on. What is it?
All right. In the comment section, I just like the correct answer.
12. Ernest said 12.
It's 12.
Okay.
My favorite quarterback has the number 12.
Oh.
That makes sense.
I'm glad you did it. By the way, folks, I want to thank y'all so very much. The Love Show was real, folks. We're going to have 2 winners today. We're going to have 2 winners. In fact, the bottom 2, Stephanie and Letitia, lasted the longest. These 2 are the winners. Next week, maybe we'll do it again. Maybe Fred will ask the questions next week. Maybe Letitia will ask the question next week. Look at him shaking his head with his Tampa Bay Lightning underneath. Or maybe Vitamin E. Listen, maybe she'll let you get into it with the questions, all right? Maybe Stephanie will let you get into it. You never know, all right? The Love Show. This has been real. Whole lot of fun. We will see y'all next week.
Share to all your friends. Share.
All of them. For Stephanie Tapley. Thank you very much, Stephanie.
Thanks for having me.
Letitia Hardison.
Good night, guys. Have a great weekend.
Absolutely. Elena, Vitamin E.
Everybody subscribe to Elena TV on YouTube. Meet me there.
Frederick Wilson II.
I know I'm Imperial, but right now, go vote.